it's not how you start, it's always how you finish.
Yeah.
You can start bad, but you can finish strong, man.
Life is like a basketball game. Sometimes you're up, other times you're down. Opponents and adversaries coming at you left and right. However, it's not the challenges you face that define you. What defines you is how you play the game. And I play to win. Welcome to my world, Carlton's world.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Carlton's World. I'm super excited about this episode because I have someone that is near and dear to my heart. He is a very good friend, and he is also my very first trainer that I've ever had. I want to introduce you guys to Calvin Roland. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Man, thank you
Uh,
so much. Thank you so much for doing this, man. I definitely appreciate you.
no problem, man. And just one nugget everybody needs to remember too. Carlton was also my very first client as I started my personal training business back in 2011, I think.
Yeah,
Gosh, it's been so long ago, but
I know.
um,
Time flies, man. Time
man,
flies.
oh my gosh, man, yeah, we all pushing our 40s, or well, I'm 41 now, so
Well,
uh,
I'll be 40 this year. I'll be 40 in
yeah,
October.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah, man, yeah. We've known each other for a minute, man. So
yeah,
that's cool, man.
yeah. So like I said, man, I definitely wanted to talk with you because again, since we were each other's first as far as the training, like I said, you were my
Mhm.
first trainer, I was your first client. But I want to
Yeah.
talk to you just about just being on this fitness journey. And we could just kind of discuss. You know a lot of what I've been through, what I've dealt with, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I want to ask you first, because for people who don't know, Calvin is also a former basketball player.
Mhm.
So talk about your basketball career first. Let's get into that.
Oh man. Well, obviously, I started playing basketball when I was about 3 years old, and currently my son is three, so I'm trying to get him interested a little bit. He don't like it. He loves his dinosaurs, as many kids that age,
Right.
but I started playing when I was about 3 years old. Used to get up very early in the morning, and I grew up on Meadowbrook, so um, it's just one of those things where, um, like, I just love the game, man, and just being outside playing early, getting on my parents' nerves because they had to get up and go to work. But started up playing, around that time. Then I didn't start playing organized basketball until I was about 12,
Hmm.
which was a big transition for me because I didn't know nothing about the game. I didn't know what layups was, didn't know what jump shot was, none of that stuff. So, um, growing up in the Augusta area, I attended Glen Hills Middle School. Like when it first opened, I remember when they finished the school, and then I was going to Seago and transitioned there because I was zoned for that school. So going there and playing um, under the Coach Steve Nobles, who's the head basketball coach at Richmond Academy. So he picked me up. I was about 6'2", 12 years old. I knew how to play, but I didn't know how to play. I had no knowledge of the game. So started with that. Um, didn't play a little bit, but didn't play very much. You know, next thing you know, transition to that next year, eighth grade. Now I'm 13. Now I'm 6'6". So I grew 4 inches that summer, and then had been on the traveling basketball circuit for a little bit with the Boys and Girls Club when they had a AAU traveling team. Um, and still really good friends with a lot of those guys today. Um, went through my middle school phase of basketball. Of course, went to Glen Hills High School for a season. Played my freshman year there, and at this time, I'm still growing in the game. And you know, at that moment, still had only played um, organized organized basketball for about 3 to 4 years at that point.
Hmm.
So I'm still like really new to the game, still behind. Um, But during those moments, I was meeting a lot of professional players, and um, a guy that was near and dear to my heart, a guy named Gerald White in the area, passed a few years ago. Man, missed the guy. But rest in peace, G White. But man, really uh, helped me with the game. Another guy that really helped me with the game, a guy named Sam Ward. Another guy, Michael Stokes. All these guys are based in the Augusta area, and a lot of people don't know Augusta has a very rich basketball history.
Mm.
A lot of great players came through the city. Honestly, like, I don't even consider myself in um, the realm of those guys because they did a lot of stuff. I did some stuff, but nothing to the magnitude of what they did. But so went through that transition through high school, or I played at Glen Hills for a season. My family, we moved to Hetzibah, played my last 3 years of high school basketball at Hetzibah High School, and went from there. Um, I was a non-qualifier on the SAT, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to junior college. So chose to stay close to home, going to Aiken Tech when they had a team.
Mm.
Played 2 years of college basketball at Aiken Tech. We did really well, had really good teams there, man. We had some really good teams. Then left or graduated, finished at Aiken Tech, transferred to Virginia Commonwealth, where I played 2 seasons, and I set out a season. My first season, which was my junior season, did okay. Still, making that transition from junior college to Division I basketball, which was very different. Players were way better, way faster, way stronger. So I knew immediately what I needed to do um, to make sure I was one of those guys. And I tried to have that focus of just doing that. But
Right.
um, yeah, so but not to get too long-winded on that, but went there and then went on to play overseas for a few years, and had some injuries. So I was like, I don't know how long I want to keep doing this with injuries and trying to recover and playing for bad teams, and you're not getting your money on time. Like, it's a lot with that I could get into, but yeah, that's just kind of my journey with basketball, and I used to do personal training with helping people lose weight or get fit. Now I've transitioned more into the basketball side of things to train and develop players
Okay.
now. So yeah.
Okay. Where did you go? When you overseas, like where were you staying? Like what different places you stayed at?
Ooh, first place I went was in Germany, small town called Quackenbrook. It's probably about an hour away from the city of Bremen, probably about an hour away from the city Munich, if I'm saying that correctly. Anybody who's in the military know of those cities, especially the larger cities. Um, but spent my rookie year in Germany, left and went to Iceland. That was interesting. Uh, Left Iceland, came back stateside, played for a season for a team in Augusta, the Augusta Groove.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then I ended up, once I was done there, then I got another contract to go play in Romania. And once I got down in Romania, I went to play in Mexico for a season. So, and in Mexico, I got a really bad injury at the beginning of the season, but throughout, played the rest of the season and had a chance to go another place. But I didn't know how, if I wanted to risk it being injured more
Mm-hmm.
versus the money they wanted to pay. I was like, I don't know, like, the injury is just like tearing me down. I feel like I need to spend some time to rehab. So, um, and I think in that moment, that's when I started Lifesavers Fitness during that time. It was around that it's like transitioning out of pro basketball and trying to figure out what I was going to do next. So, yeah.
Got you. Was it so? This is actually like I really can't stand this movie, but I'm going to reference it. So you know, in the scene of Love and Basketball, when Monica, played by Sanaa Lathan, when you know she goes overseas and plays, and she like seems like she's by herself, like she feels by herself. Like, is it like similar to that when you went
Man,
overseas?
listen, yes, it is. It's just like that. Um, you know, when playing overseas basketball, like, it's a culture shock for one, because you go in there when, first off, I always tell, especially my young players now, I tell them, like, when you play pro basketball, it is a job. It's a job. It's just like you going to 9 to 5. Like, you get up in the morning, you go to practice, you got your first practice of the day, usually from 8 to 10. Don't make
Mm,
coach mad, because it could get longer,
mm-hmm.
but it's usually from 8 to 10. Um, you go lift weights for about an hour, 2 hours. Then you come back that night from about 6 to 8, and you do that every single day. Every single day. If you have great practices, coach might give you the weekend off. If you don't, you can be practicing on the weekend. So it's truly a job, and to wake up and to do that every day, a lot of people on the outside looking in don't really understand it. Um, but it's truly a job. But then it gets even worse when you don't really know anybody. Um, it's different when you got other Americans you can kind of chat with, or somebody you can relate with. But most of the time, if you go into a team that only allows one American, it is what it is. Like, the only other American you might meet is on another team you playing against, and they
Mm-hmm.
might be in another city that's 2, 3 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, you truly it gets lonely, but you can't allow yourself to um, be in that state of mind. You have to get out and get immersed in the culture. You get to know people, try to learn the language a little bit, try to learn enough to be able to communicate, get yourself around. Whether you're getting in taxis and you're trying to order the food. Um, the fans are like intense. People put you on this pedestal. I'm like, sometimes fans will like treat you a certain way, and I'm like, I stay upstairs. Like, you don't have to treat me like that. Like, I'm your neighbor. Like, so like they be amazed by it. I'm like, we stay in the same building. So, um, like, you can talk to me like the norm. Sometimes it got annoying a little bit, 'cause I'm like, I am trying to have my personal space. So, y'all need to chill a little bit. But for the most part, man, I loved it, man.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so let's talk about you transitioning with lifesavers. So what? Because you talked about your personal injuries, like what
Mhm.
actually pushed you to start lifesavers? Like what made you want to go into personal training?
Ooh, I was actually in college, man, and um, I had some people that I knew that were really good trainers through the YMCA in Richmond, Virginia. So, um, I would watch them as they would work with people, and it was more so, some people in it for the money,
Hmm.
which you definitely gotta, you gotta make a living. You don't want to undercharge folks and things like that, but you also got to try to work with people too.
Right.
But it's more personal than anything, personal training. So, like, you in those moments, you trying to help change people's life. You know what I mean? So, um, for me, what was really personal about it for me, my dad passed away at 57.
Mm.
So super young, super young. So, I felt like at that moment, man, like, if there's something I could have did to maybe help him be more fit during that time, especially all the things I was learning in college, and um, as a basketball player, and learn from my different trainers. Some of it was basic stuff, and you just try to be consistent with it. And I felt like if I could have been around enough to help him, because I'm at that point in time still growing and becoming a man and different things like that. So I feel like if it was little things that we could have implemented for him to help him eat better, help him, hey, you just need to walk 30 minutes a day. You know, you need to do this, maybe change a few things in his diet. Um, it, he possibly would still be here right now, but my dad was also stubborn too. I
Mm,
love him, but he was stubborn. He was going to eat what he wanted to eat, and you know, he wasn't about trying to eat rabbit food. Like he's like, all right, if I want a steak and baked potato, I want my steak and baked potato. If I want to eat, you know, three, four slices of cake, I'm gonna have that. But um, over time, when you taught certain things, especially during that time, my dad was born in 1949, so coming up through that era, it's like you had to get what you like. We talking about during that time, almost civil rights, and you know, some people still kind of enslaved during that time. Like a lot of people don't know, but you coming up in an era where racism was like still at the very height it was during that time.
right.
Um, so it's like, all right, this is what we got to eat. This is what I got to eat. So you basically eating bad every day. Um, but you ain't thinking about that. It's about survival at that moment.
Right.
You know what I
You
mean?
got to get
Like
what you can
you got to
get.
eat. Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, they eating chitlins and all this stuff. It's like, all right, this is what it is. This is what we got. This is what we can afford. Like, um, you know, what nobody trying to eat. I think food back then wasn't as toxic as it is now. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like people actually grew stuff, actually went out in the fields and grew stuff, and so it was very different. It was processed differently. Like um, you know, it was just everything was just different back then. Like which is why you got grandparents who lived a longer time off of that. You know, that's kind of all they knew, and they just and you know they were more active too. You know what I mean? They were outside and walking around and you know stuff like. I mean, you know how you watched your grandparents and the things they did. So,
Right, right, right.
um, but yeah, it was just personal for me, man. I was like, you know, let me see if I let me help. Let me start a business to where I can help people with their health. You know what I mean? And make it personal to them. Like, hey, what do you want to do in the future if you don't change your lifestyle now? Um, you know, if you don't change your lifestyle now, this could be your future, or you not be in that future at all because you're not trying to change your habits. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, that was a big thing for me is just making it personal, man, like super personal to a point where it hit them in their feels a little bit. Like, all right, I do need to change. Like, you know, yeah,
Yeah. I know, like I said, and so of course I met you through your brother. Well, one of your brothers, you got a lot of siblings.
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
and because it was a point where I was like, okay, I really want to work out. I just don't know how or exactly know exactly what to do. Like, you know, sometimes you get so caught up in doing the same thing over and over again, and
mm-hmm,
it's like you're
mm-hmm,
not really necessarily doing things that are really going to actually help you as far as grow and lose the weight or gain muscle or whatever. So like I said, so I basically linked up with Calvin and like we had our consultation, and that was a question you asked me. It's like what basically what do you want your future to look like? Like what
yeah,
exactly are you trying to? How do you want to live the rest of your life?
mm-hmm,
And so also too we talked about problem areas and different things like that. And I told you I said one of my main problem areas is my stomach. Like that's literally the main area. And we'll like I said we'll jump into that. That's the main topic of this conversation. Just how we can get some tips on like
yeah,
how do you handle that? 'Cause again, I know you transitioned into more with basketball, different things,
mm-hmm,
training basketball students and everything. But the one thing I want to say, and like I said, while I have you is, and me and Kendra, like I said, we talk about you all the time. Like Calvin, y'all was to me the best trainer that I've had because also not only were you working us, but you cared. It was more so of a caring fit like a carrying training. Like, of course, you was like, okay, hey, you gotta do this, yeah, because your favorite phrase was whenever you came was, "Are you ready to get it in?" Like you said
Oh,
it every time. Like, are you ready to get it in? And some days it'd be like, yeah, let's do it. The other days be like,
yeah,
nah, I ain't
yeah,
really
because
trying.
yeah, like, and what people don't understand, like sometimes, like as a trainer, sometimes you don't have it either. You know what I mean? So you have to like mentally prepare yourself. Like, all right, I ain't feeling it today, but hey, let me not let them see what I'm feeling,
Right.
but also I need to let them know like I'm human too. But so I used to just try to just pump you all up, like, hey, are you ready to get it in? Like, knowing like, hey, if I could have some type of enthusiasm to help pump you up and get you ready, it's not how you start, it's always how you finish.
Yeah.
You can start bad, but you can finish strong, man.
And I,
You
and
can
that's
start bad, but you can finish strong.
and that's
So
what I appreciate. That's what I appreciated about training with you. Like I said, I would have my days. I'm like, I really don't feel like doing this, but you help me push. You would help me push through.
Mhm.
And by the end of it, it's okay. I'm glad I actually spent this hour,
Mhm.
bettering myself. So, another thing, like I said, another thing I appreciated too, and this what kind of turns me off with not necessarily people I worked with, but people that I've seen, like things I've seen online and things like that. I'm not. I can't do the harsh. I can't do the harsh training. I'm not. Listen, because I will definitely I will fall back. I'll be like, you know what? I'm good. Thank you. Because like but no, some people need that. Some people
Yeah,
need
yeah, yeah,
some people need to
yeah,
be yelled at. Some people need to be cussed at. Some people need to, that helps them. But me,
yeah.
no, you're not my daddy. Um, so like I don't like I push me, but keep it respectful. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
and
So yeah.
yeah, and you know, and again, that works for some, but I had to figure out what worked for me. Um, as like, how was I going to project myself on other people? Like, how was I going to coach them? Like, I was like, well, I don't use profanity, so because I'm a believer, so um, that was a big part of my character. I
Hmm.
don't want to record a video and I'm dropping the F bombs, do this, do that, and I got other people that's watching me. Like, I got a young son now, and I used to always say this thing like, "Hey, I'm gonna hold this so I can show my kids one day." Now, I got a kid, I got a son, so I want to go back and be able to show him certain videos, like so he look, oh, that's
Hmm.
daddy, but I don't want him to see, hey, boom, 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 boom. Daddy's saying he don't really know what bad words are, but the important thing is like teaching him, like, hey, that's not very good to say this, that, and the other. I just trying to be that example, man. And
Right.
but not only is my son watching or now watching me, but other young people, other people that I know personally, was like, oh, he's using some bad stuff. Like, I didn't want that to be um my identity. I'm like, no, I'm not that guy. I didn't, even when I did use profanity in the past, I didn't sound right saying it. So I was like, I just ain't going, it don't fit me. It don't
Hmm.
fit who I am, it don't fit my identity. So I was like, I'm done with this. I had to repent and like, hey, I'm done with that. It is what it is. So um, you know, um it's first off, you have to value people. You have to value the relationships, like, and it's important, um, because when you value people, it's good for retention.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I move back to the area today and say, hey, lifesaver Sittings, we back live again. I know that you and Kendra are gonna be ready to jump back on board like
One
right
thousand
away.
percent. One
You know
thousand.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's it's that type of relationship you build, versus if I had treated you another way, you were like, man, I don't even know if we'd be doing this podcast right now, to be honest. But it's like, nah, man, he left a bad taste in my mouth. It was, his first impressions was my last impression. So I'm like, yeah, he always, well, what if I changed over the last 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, I don't know that. But you ain't trying to find out. So I did a detriment to myself by the way I treated you during that time. And it's, um, you know, and I deserve what I got because I did that, you know what I mean? So the Bible makes it clear, and loosely paraphrasing, you reap what you sow. So, um, it's one of those things, man. It's just all about valuing people and how, because some people can some people can have somebody talk to them like that and not affect them, or it can help motivate them a little bit. But motivation is motivation. Like you have to continue to do that. Like you have to um, desire discipline. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Discipline, and being consistent with it, and you're gonna figure out, all right, what do I need to do to make sure I need to accomplish this today? Um, and you could write down a goal and never act on it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Or you can make up in your mind like, hey, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm done. This is what I want, and this is what I'm going for. You have to lock in with laser focus and knock it out and minimize or try to eliminate your distractions. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
and that was the biggest thing with that. Like, hey, let me make this thing super personal. Let me focus on them because they're the most important person in the world. For this 60 minutes, that's who they are. And um what made me feel really special is like y'all even was inviting me out to eat, and I think we went to the Japanese spot on Washington Road that one day.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man, I'm out here eating with my clients and all that. Like, we out here eating hibachi and whatnot. Yeah. But I enjoyed it, man. I even but yeah, man. So that's what it was for me, man. Just trying to give you just give people a personal experience, um something they can relate, somebody they can relate to, somebody that's gonna be compassionate with you because I know what you're going through. Like, hey, I know you might not have it today. Like, I can kind of see it. Like, I know it, but you paid money. I'm gonna make sure you get a return on your investment.
Right.
Like,
Right.
that's what that was my ultimate goal. Hey, I need you to get a return on your investment. Don't just throw me no money and not show up. Like, show up. I showed up. You show up too.
Right,
So.
right. Yeah, and like I said, that again, that's what I appreciated about you working with you. Like I said, again, you pushed us and you challenged us to do different things because the thing I hated the most was running. I hated running, but
I knew it. Yeah,
but
that and the push-ups.
but Calvin and Daddy push-ups. Oh Lord, I still, but you pushed me to be the best that I could at that time. And again, you did it in a loving way. It wasn't like, you know, again, it wasn't making me feel defeated because I couldn't do certain things. It was just like, all right, let's try to work around what your weaknesses are and let's see how we can improve upon
Mm-hmm.
them. So that's what I appreciated about, and what made me sad was again because our schedules. I think our schedules had changed. You
Oh
had started
yeah.
working like another
Oh
shift, and
yeah, yeah.
then
I was
yeah,
working. I
so
was working full time. I forget about that. I was working
yeah,
full time job too. So yeah.
that's what happened. Yes, our
Mhm.
schedules had changed us, so we unfortunately couldn't continue, and then you moved, and then
Oh
it
yeah.
was like, dang, okay, all right, well, he's gone. But no, but man,
Yeah.
but I say this all the time, man. Like the lessons that you have instilled in me from the very beginning, I still carry those things to this day.
Okay.
And I'm gonna share with you too, because my last trainer that I had, shout out to Chris McIntyre. Um, my prayer last year was because this has been my problem. Not we're gonna talk about the stomach thing, but my problem has always been consistency. It's been like I would start out the year good. I would go to the gym, you know, work on eating better, and then I would make the mistake of weighing myself, and I would not see a difference.
Mhm.
And it would constantly be a not seeing a difference, and that would make me feel defeated. I'm like, okay, so what's the point of this if the number's not going down, despite
Right.
the fact that my clothes will feel different, but I'm looking at numbers.
Mhm.
I'm a numbers guy, so I'm looking at numbers, and so that what made me defeated. I'm just like, you know what? There's no point of doing this, so let me just go ahead and just fall back on it and just eat what I want. And then of course, then you start feeling, you start feeling bad, and you're
Mhm.
feeling like, you're gaining more weight and all this other stuff. So last year, I prayed. I said, God, please help me to stay consistent. And I linked up with Chris McIntyre, and he was my trainer for the first 2 months of last year. And so the lessons that I learned from him, plus the lessons that I have from you, it was like, okay, I think I could really do this thing this year. So last year I locked in. I was like, okay, we gonna keep it pushing. And Chris, again, he set me up to where it really made me want to work out. Like even the days I like didn't feel like it was like, no, I don't feel like
Yeah,
being. Yeah, y'all
them,
was
them the best days.
yeah,
Them the best
y'all was
days when you push
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, y'all would see
You-
my post. I'd be like, I don't feel like being
Yeah,
here, but
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
But you
I kept
there. Yeah.
going. I kept going. So, and
Because again, it's remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Like
right,
one of my it's not my favorite song, but one of my favorite songs to listen to by an artist named Trip Lee, Christian artist. Um, he says in the song, trophies don't go to the ones with a good beginning. You know what I mean? So um, you can have a rough start, man, but it's all about how you finish and the fact that on those days where you don't feel good and you force yourself to get in that gym to get that work in, at the end of you like that, I feel refreshed. Hey, let me
yeah,
go get something to eat. Now I can go do what I want to do because my workout's done. You
right,
know what I mean? So that's the important thing is when you find um, you find a way to dig in to get the best out of you. Because
hmm,
we can tell you what to do, um, and we can continue to tell you that until we blue in the face. But you have to make up in your mind, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to change my body. This is what I want. This is what I'm demanding from my life. Like I want to get in shape. I want to be in the best shape I've ever been in. Um, and the more you tell yourself that, the more you write that down, the more you start buying in, believing that. Like, hey, and you can put it somewhere like, hey, I want to be my best self today. I want to make sure I get in this gym. I want to try to eat right. I want to do these things. And the more that sets in your mindset, um, the more you start trying to do that. Like, hey, I really want those chocolate chip cookies, but I'm gonna hold back. How about, I'll have some maybe over the weekend because I work my butt off all week, or I'll have
right,
some at the end of the month. Like you set it, you set that up for yourself. Like, hey, and that way you finding ways to motivate yourself and to stay motivated and finding ways to be consistent. And
right,
that's the key word, consistency. And the other thing we can't fall into is trying to get instant gratification. You
yes,
know what I mean? So that's a
yes,
big thing. And this like, it's been a thing for a long time, but especially right now, man, everybody want to make money fast. And I'm like, listen, you got to put the work in, man. Like, you got to do the homework, put the work in, and you do that, and then you should get the results. And if you don't, it's okay to go back, rework it, rework your blueprint. Like, hey, well, this didn't work. Well, it probably will work, but let me scratch it off and let me come back to it for a moment to um and let me do it this way. Then that didn't work. You can always switch it around. You know what I mean?
right,
So,
right.
but,
And also I want to say, put out there, like a lot of times again, we do have those moments where we may like. I know that time I was. We didn't talk about it officially on the recording, but um, there was a period where I was sick earlier this year, and so I didn't go to the gym for like maybe a week and a half or whatever. And instead of looking, and this is for people who feel like they've fallen off, instead of looking at it like starting over, just pick back up where you were and just kind of just
exactly.
keep it because
Yeah.
that's how I was. Like I felt like every time that I would stop, I would look at it like, okay, well, this is day one. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, this ain't day one. You're just picking back up where you last. Now it might be a little because
Mhm.
I'll admit it was a little that first day back. It was like,
Yeah, it's rough.
okay,
Yeah.
it was a little rough, but again,
Yeah.
it's just again, it's about just being gracious with yourself and being patient
Yeah.
with yourself. Again,
Oh
because
yeah.
like you said
Got to.
again, um, we live in this microwave world in this instant world. We want things quick and fast. It's like, no,
Man.
that's not how true change happens. It's a process. It's an every and
All
also too
steps.
it's an everyday process too, because that's another thing. Like
Yes.
you're never gonna get to a point where it's okay, I can stop working out now. No,
Mm-mm.
you
No,
gotta do
you have to always
yeah.
do something like it's the reason when you see, when you see people 100 years old running a marathon, they may not have no wheels on them, but hey, yeah, 100 years old out here running a marathon because they ain't no telling well, obviously they're 100 years old doing that. And we see it often. They'll report about it. And I live not far from a city called Loma Linda, and I think it has the most what's the word? The most people that are it's another word I don't know right now, but the most people that are over 100 years old
Hmm.
living in that city. And if you go to the city and see why, hugely uh, Asian community, they out walking, they out riding their bikes, they out jogging, and they're working in their gardens, like they eating well, like they got all types of stuff they do, like they're just doing things to continue to keep themselves healthy. Um, um, but it's just it's one of those things, man, where you have to like buy in to the process. Like, all right, I need to do something today. Like, you ain't trying to go out here and lift 300 pounds every day, but it's like, all right, let me go jog. Let me go jog in the cul-de-sac, or let me jog up here, make a circle, come back. Right.
Right.
Then you might say, hey, I feel I've been doing this for about a month now. My cardiovascular system is getting stronger. I feel like I can run a little bit farther. So now you challenge yourself to go farther. Then you knock it out of the water. You like, oh snap! Like I feel great. Now I'm gonna start trying to do that every day. So it's you take small baby steps and try to get 1% better every day. Like some people try to go for the whole 100 every day. I'm like, listen, you're gonna burn yourself out trying to do that. Just start small.
Yeah.
Start small, conquer that, and do it again the next day. Do it again the
Yeah.
next day. Then when you feel like you want to grow a little bit, you know, step it up a little bit. The next month or whatever. So, um, yeah, man, just um, but you can't despise. You can't. Look at me, tongue twister. You can't despise small beginnings.
Right.
Like,
Right.
a lot of people look, oh, well, I'm just starting here. Like, but at least you started. Just start. Just start it. Like you can always go back and make adjustments later. Just start it now. Like, hey, I probably ran for too long because I'm gassed. Well, all right, well, 10 minutes or 20 minutes is all your body can tolerate. Just do that for now.
Right.
Like it's gonna get stronger because you have to because you're doing it. So most people don't, they look at it. Well, I ain't like this person. Like, no, don't compare yourself to nobody else. You. Don't get into don't get caught up in that comparison game because a lot of people do that now when they see the social media stuff and they feel like they should be here. Like, no, like I guarantee you some point at some part of their life they comparing themselves to somebody else too. Like don't play that comparison game, man.
That's where I was going too. I was going there next because the gym actually used to intimidate me.
Mhm.
I it could because again, you got so many people that are working out doing things, and you got people they got some people that are doing the most, and it's like they lifting and doing all this other stuff, and you just like because for to be transparent, so like lifting the weights and doing all that, like again, I used to be like, I can't lift. This guy over here is lifting 345s. Like he got 345s on each side. I can't do that. That's a lot. And my thing is, I may look big, like I've been compared to a football player and all this other stuff. I'm like, I may look like it, but no. Um, So that used to scare me, bro. Like I used to be like, I can't lift like this, brother. So I don't want people to see me just lifting 125 on each side. I don't want people seeing me. I used to be like that, but then like I said, I working with Chris, and Chris like, bro, don't be worried about these people. But he's like,
Yeah,
most of these people,
yeah,
he said most of these people are doing it wrong anyway. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
He's right. Like
it's
they just then they got all that like, it's been like, some people they like some people it took them a while to get to that point. They ain't just going
right,
in there and lifting 315 like just because the sky blue. It was like, all right, they had to start somewhere to get to that point.
right.
And I think the most I like the last time I lifted that much weight, I was in college, man. I hadn't did that. I think the most I was able to get up, my max was like 320 or something like that. And I got long arms, so it was hard. But
Mm,
what got me to that point was I had set out a year of college, and I was just doing push-ups all the time. So it got me really strong. And my the strength coach, he's like, oh, that don't, push-ups ain't really. I was like, man, I said, I promise you, that's all I'm doing is just push-ups. Like
mm-hmm,
I'm just doing. At that time, I think I was like doing in between 250 and 300 a day. I'll wake up and do about 100. I'll do 100 around noontime, like after class or something. Then I'll try to do 100 at night.
mm-hmm,
And oh, you knock it out 100? Like, no, I might do 25 in one sitting. Then I might do another 10. Then I do another 10, or I do 10 sets of tens. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like you do 10 sets of 10 push-ups, you're gonna feel it. You do 5 sets of 10, you're gonna feel it. But um you start small, and I felt like I was like, dang, all right, 10 push-ups, it ain't that hard. If I can just get to 10 every time, I'll be good.
right,
You know what I mean? Like, and usually how I started with you that time was like, hey, we're gonna see how many you can do. How many reps you can do. We can try to max out. And you didn't do very many. I think you might have did like maybe 5, which was fine. I said, all right, so now we're gonna take that 5 and break it down. We're gonna do. I think we did like 5 sets of 3 or something like that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And by the time you do that 5 sets of 3, you done did what, 15 push-ups?
right,
You know what I mean? And you don't think about it like that. I only did 3. I'm like, no, you did 15. Like you put all that together, you did 15 push-ups. You know what I mean? So, and the more you stick with something like that, and it could be 1 push-up. It could be 2. Like even working with Kendra, I think she might have did 2. But over time, she was doing like 5, 6, almost 10. Like it just, we had to start small, and you have to modify and do all those things. Um, then once you help a person build up that confidence and say, hey, well, I don't want to try it that way. I want to try it this way. And then like, hey, you know what? We doing something here. And by seeing that, that builds my ego. I'm like, hey, we really like we really on to something here. Like,
yeah,
it helps. Keeps me getting better, in my craft, while I'm helping you. So it not only am I helping you, you helping me. You know what I mean? So we both win at the end of the day.
yeah. And I want to say, I do the tens now, so I just want to throw
Oh,
that out there.
good. Oh, good, 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 good,
I
good,
just want to
man.
throw that. But I still hate push-ups. I still hate them, but I try to get 10 in, and yeah, at least try to get 10 in a day, and
Yeah,
like like I do it at the gym, and then I just go and continue my workout. So
yeah,
just trying to get better, trying to improve every day, man. Like I said, again, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for Chris, all the people that I have worked with in the past. Um, and like I said, I'm grateful. Most importantly, and I did a video last year too. I did a whole thing, just showing my, starting in
mhm,
January and then finishing on out in December. And I was just like super grateful that God sustained me throughout, and my prayer was answered. Like I didn't
mhm.
realize it then. Like I wasn't. I was just kind of just again. It became a routine for okay. I'm going to the gym, and it wasn't like well, some days it was like I gotta go to the gym, but for the most part, I was like getting up, like okay, I'm going to the gym, and like honest, and I've become more surprisingly. I'm become a morning workout person. Um, I prefer to go to the gym before I go to work versus after, because afterwards it'd be kind of hard because you worked all
Packed
day.
in the
Yeah,
gym, your
it's
mindset like
and it's packed. But no, bro, that last week when I posted, I was so pissed off because I was like, I mean, it's a good thing. People want to get fit, but I was like, why are y'all here?
all the
it was just so many
all
people there. It was so many people.
all them New Year, new me folk up in there. And then by this time they're gonna be, you know, I want them to stay consistent and stay in the gym, but usually, well, yeah, today is the end of the month. Like, yeah, they might either gonna stick with it or they gonna go back to their old self. Like, it's just what it is. Like,
Yeah,
um, but again, the early morning is the best way to go because um, you go you got yourself up, you got in there, got your work done early, then you got the rest of the day, you work, do whatever else you need to do, knowing you worked out already. You
right.
know what I mean?
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So I want to talk about with you again. Again, my problem area has always been my stomach. Always has always been that area. Trying to get that together. Even like I said,
Mhm.
even in working out now, and I'm trying not to get so self conscious about it, because like I feel like my best area is actually my arms. My arms, like I ain't gonna lie, my arms look great. Not no brag, but
Hey man, hey, hey, brag on yourself, man. Yeah, you put the work in, man. You gotta brag
yeah.
on yourself. You put the work
So
in, man. You
and
can do that.
I appreciate, like I said again, my clothes fit a lot looser now. I can see like my face is going down.
Mhm.
My skin has gotten a lot better. I was having rough skin like 2 years ago. But my problem area has always been my stomach, and it's something I've been trying to that's something I've been working on. So if are there any tips for people who may be like me that you can give people that like, hey, that may have a stubborn stomach like I do? Because I feel like my stomach just doesn't want to go anywhere. Like it just wants to just stay where it is. So, so do you have any tips that you can like maybe give people?
Well, you mentioned something earlier about giving yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace on that and understand it takes time for something like that. Like, there's nothing like you can't really do spot reduction or nothing like that. You have to work the whole entire body.
Mm,
Um, but a lot of time when people have issues with their stomach, sometimes they might need to just cut a little more fat down, or do you know maybe do a cardio component to help. That could be beneficial. Then, but the most important part of that is nutrition.
okay.
Cut out your stubborn sugars. Um, you're gonna have certain things that you want all the time, but you have to be able to control it or replace it with fruit. Fruit, you're gonna get your natural sugars. My biggest thing is I love cookies, man. So um, and I hadn't been in the gym like basketball wise. I'm there all the time, but like workout to work on myself, um, I hadn't really hit the gym much in the last few years, especially since after my son was born, and even while my wife was pregnant with him. Um, Man, I got up to 300 pounds, dude. Like I've never weighed that much in my life. The most I weighed before that was about 275, but I had never been 300 pounds before.
Hmm.
Well, but when my wife was pregnant with my son, um, I was eating crazy, man, just making up snacks and all kind of crazy stuff. But I wasn't going to the gym and all that stuff. Um, but one thing I started to do, I was like, all right, well, I'm eating all these cookies all the time. I'm like eating a whole roll of Oreos, well, two, three rolls, but uh, don't judge me. But
No, no, hey, no, this we're not judging at all. It be like that
uh,
sometimes.
but But yeah, man, you just eating stuff, and most of the time I'm just eating stuff, and I ain't like at that time, like I was like, damn, I'm just eating this because I see it, and I'm not even craving for it. And sometimes I was probably craving for my wife, like my wife might have wanted something, like she was eating shrimp cocktails all the time. Then I was like, well, all right, I'm eating. Oreos, and I'm trying out different donut shops. Like, you know how it is in California. Like, they got donut shops. Like, in Augusta, they ain't got donut shops like that, like they got out here. You got a donut shop on every corner out here, like everywhere. Like, they can be, you got the best ones, you got the worst ones, but that became like my guilty pleasure, wanting donuts all the time, coffee. Um, and I'm drinking coffee, I'm decaf right now, but I was drinking that every day. It had a lot of sugar in it, so I gained all this weight. And I was like, damn, I got to do something about this. Um, so I started cutting out the sugars. I said, all right, I'm not gonna have no cookies. And I think by me just drinking water, um, and cutting out the sugars, like my face started getting more thin, and I probably lost like 30 pounds just doing that.
Mm.
And my stomach was like, I could, when I would run, I would feel it like jiggling up and down. I was like, damn, this bad, man. But um, like, then I started seeing it in my shirt. I was like, oh man, this real bad. I got to do something about this. So then my clothes were fitting tight. I was like, man, I ain't buying no new clothes. Like, I'm 6'9", so clothes are expensive.
Hmm.
Like getting, you got getting extra fabric, all that stuff. That's basically what I'm paying for. But clothes are expensive, man. So I was like, I ain't buying no more clothes. I got a closet full of stuff I barely wear now. And now I can't fit it. So once I started doing that and staying consistent with trying to eat better and then cutting out the sugars and just getting my sugars from fruit and I started drinking like black coffee and then teas and stuff like that. It was like mainly my nutrition and along with me training with my clients. Um, I was getting a good sweat. I would play one-on-one. I would get a good sweat. So now I'm starting to notice like, all right, I'm starting to move a little bit better. Like my knees ain't hurt me. My back's not hurting me anymore. Like I'm really coming off with this weight. So, um, the nutrition is like probably most important thing when it comes to, um, just shedding weight in general. But, um, you know, you can challenge yourself to drink water. You could go on a water fast, for like 7 days, and it ain't easy. It's very hard. You can say, hey, I'm gonna have a month where I do water and vegetables, and that's it. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, and then because you've been on a fast before, and you know what that's like. As soon as you get that, after that, usually around day 3, it's like, man, you ready to fight everybody? Like, hey, listen, I
Yeah.
just, I, y'all better back up. But yeah, water is like, the nutrition, but consuming more water.
Hmm.
That way, you basically detoxing your body of all the toxins, anything. When you get the fruits and veggies back in there, you replacing it with good stuff. So it's like you pushing out the junk, replacing it with the good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and you already know, like, you doing the work already, so you notice changes in your skin, the changes in um your face, everything just starts to change, like, um and just with little things, like little small changes like that, man. And it's hard for people to do. Some people don't drink water, and some people can't stand it. Some people need to flavor it. And what I found that was easy was, my wife, she bought this huge vegetable tray. It was like this huge vegetable tray, like, and we was like, man, we don't eat this stuff. It's gonna go bad.
Mm.
So every day we would cook our dinner, but we had all these raw veggies, and like we had to eat this stuff. Cause like, man, we paid like $40 for this thing. Like, no, we ain't about to let this go bad. So we had to eat it.
Right.
Um, so if you see something like that in your fridge all the time, you're like, Dad, I need to get this. And then what might happen is everybody else start eating like that too. Like, damn, man, you got that celery, and I let her throw ranch dressing up on it. That ain't gonna hurt you too much, but I won't say just drizzle it in ranch, but you getting all your because ranch is filled with sugar. A lot of people don't know
Hmm.
that, but
Yeah.
um but it's a way to get those fruits and veggies in all the time. Like just seeing that tray, and if you don't want to spend the time to buy them and cut them and wash them and clean them, like that's pretty much already done for you. But um, it's a major investment to yourself. Um, just making small changes like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. But thank you for that for sure. We definitely appreciate that.
Oh, no
Yeah,
problem,
like I
man.
said, I got my gallon here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Been
You
hitting
doing? Hey,
that.
you doing it? You doing it? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
so definitely been like I said, I've been implementing just implementing little things again, like I said, just being gracious with myself and not being hard on myself when I do be wanting. Because we had those days where all right, yeah, I want a little bite-sized Butterfinger one. Just let me get,
Oh yeah, that ain't
give a little bite-sized Butterfinger.
now when you have when you have a bag of Butterfingers, that's a problem. Like you know what I mean. One ain't gonna
Yeah.
hurt you, man.
So,
Like
so I'm gonna tell you this.
um,
So my mom always gives me something for Valentine's Day, and so my mom, she's like, I know you're not really doing the candy stuff no more, but I got you the heart
hey
butterfinger.
man,
Now, Calvin, I'm
that's
gonna tell
mama's
you,
love, man.
it is. I love and I appreciate that. I have not. Normally, back in the day, I would that bag would have been gone,
Yeah,
but I literally it's still sitting. Like I've had like one or two, like like every so often. And Valentine's Day was like what a
man.
couple of weeks ago, but it's still the bag
Yeah,
is still there. I haven't
yeah.
really touched it. So I
That
mean, like I
listen,
said, it's
that
just
man.
making those
Listen,
small changes.
hey, clap it up for you, man. Listen, that's growth, man, because you know how disciplined you have to be um to deny yourself that.
Yeah,
Um, the Bible talks about how you need to. I don't know the scripture now, but again, loosely paraphrasing, you have to die to yourself daily, man. Um, and a lot of people don't know what that means, but you have to like, somebody might cut you off in traffic, and you want to. We all know. We all had like you just want to say something, but you figure out how to. All right, that ain't God. Like I can't do that. You know what I
mm,
mean? So, and it comes down with food too. Like, hey, I want that smash burger. I want that triple cheese smash burger that I seen along with a basket of fries. One of my favorite phrases is this. One of my favorite phrases when people ordering fries, they give me. I pull up to the thing, give me all the fries you can give me, and they'll laugh, they'll laugh, but I'm like, nah, don't do that. But um, you know, you want those things, and because you enjoy it. Like people enjoy fast food, good fast food. Um, you know what I mean? So you can eat those things, but you can't eat those things every single day. You know what I
right,
mean? So
right,
you have to make a conscious choice, and by you doing that just shows discipline in itself. Like, and even if you ate a piece every day, it ain't gonna hurt you. But if you sitting there and you got like, hey, I got my bowl of candy, and I'm about to go in, and everybody like, no, don't do that because you're gonna spike your blood sugar and cause
right,
yourself issues. Like you don't want to do
right,
that, man. So
right. I think also too, it was two things that pushed me, and then we can move on. Come on, actually one more thing, and then we'll close out. Two things that pushed me to like definitely want to live better. Besides the fact that I'm getting older, one, my siblings started having kids. And so like I need the energy to keep up with them. I have two
man,
nieces, two nephews now, and it's like I want to make sure I'm here for them. And
man,
also too when they want to play,
oof.
I want to make sure I'm
Yeah,
able. I
you
want to
trying
play,
to get, yeah,
I want
already
to be
listen.
I want to be able I want
I'm,
them to be say I want to play with Uncle Carlton. I want to be able to play. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
I'm 41 with a 3-year-old.
yeah.
So, like, when people make those meme posts, like, "Hey, this gonna be me," showing up because I got a 5-year-old and you doggone near grandparent age with a kid in elementary school, and like, "Hey, what's up, granddad?" Like, no, I'm dad. Like, I got that. I got the grades and all that stuff, but typically when I cut my beard off, I look younger versus when I let everything grow out and all the gray showing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but man, I totally understand that. But sorry to interrupt, man. But yeah, yeah,
No, you're fine.
it
You're
makes
fine.
yeah, that makes sense. That and it goes back to that when we first started. Like, hey, what do you want for your future, man? Like, what are you going to demand out of your life? Like, what do you want to do? Because
Right.
you could either walk in your same ways and eat whatever you want, and you could also get the results of that, or you could change your lifestyle by the things you do, the things you consume, and get the results from that.
Right.
Either way, you're gonna get some results. They're
Right.
gonna be good or they're gonna be bad. Like it's either or. Like you don't stand. There's no middle ground. You're gonna get worse or you're gonna get better.
That's right.
And
That's
um
right.
and it's great it's great to see uh Cameron and
Carmen.
Harmon
Yeah.
and them and their kids, man. That's like, everybody's married, and I was like, man, that's cool, man. Like that, it's cool to see, like, just the, like, man, everybody's just growth, man. Like,
Yeah.
um, Kendra doing her thing. I see she's started the cleaning company, and then she's hygienist now, right?
Yep. Oh, but no,
Yeah.
she's a dental assistant.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah.
event, yeah, is levels to it too. And she might be able to go to, like, she gonna know enough to go to dental school one day if she want to take it that far.
Yeah.
'Cause I've worked in dentistry before too, and man, it's very rewarding if you want to do it. A buddy of mine, he was working at the MCG. I think they call it something different now, but he's at the dental school there. But he Armenian guy, but he moved back to LA and he opened
Okay.
up a practice out here for Crown and Bridge work, and he's one of the top Crown and Bridge professionals in the world, I'll say.
Oh wow.
But this guy started out picking up trash at Universal Studios.
Mm.
Yeah, that just lets you know how you have to start somewhere, but not be um, comfortable or be complacent where you are. You always got to be like, hey, I'm here now, but I won't be here tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
realizing, like, hey, there's time in between that, like, but you gotta, as you working, you gotta work on yourself. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
yeah, so
Absolutely.
but yeah, that's good, man, that um you put in your mind, like, hey, I want to be here. I want to be here for my siblings. I want to be here for my nieces and nephews and have fun with them too. And I want them to meet um Uncle Carlton, have fun with Uncle Carlton. Hey, go on a ride with Uncle Carlton, and because like, and you have to be like, speaking on your behalf, you have to be so grateful for that, man, especially um, through the many transitions you've had in your life. I think you were a teenager, right? When you were battling leukemia, was it?
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
16.
So,
Yeah.
um, and so to be, most folks don't make it to almost being 40, like, with that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and that's just
Right.
God's grace and favor on you, man, to be here now, this day, being able to do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you had to, and you don't even realize this, you had to fight then. And you didn't even realize you need to fight then. You just like, man, I just want to be a 16-year-old and go eat pizza and hang out with my friends. You're not thinking that you would go through that, but you have to go back to that point and realize, maybe even before that, I don't know. But like, man, I've been a fighter. You looking at, I've been a fighter my whole life,
Mm.
and God has allowed me to make it to this point. Allowed me to have a body of work in the film industry. Allowed me to have published films. Um, you know, like, those are no small feats, man. You have to think about where you come from. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about where you
Yeah.
come from and just where you're trying to go. And um, yeah, and you have to look at, man, I've accomplished a lot. You know what I mean? So, and going back to this journey, don't ever get yourself wrapped up in feeling like you hadn't done anything. Or like, hey, you did a lot. You know, I mean, you worked with a lot of people. You traveled a lot of places. You won a lot of awards, and um, again, you know, it's still only the beginning. You know what I mean? Still
Yeah.
only the beginning. So um, it's only up from there, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that for sure. I receive it, and I thank you for sure for the words. And again, man, I just appreciate you and appreciate our friendship, like one
Oh
thousand percent,
man,
one
so
thousand
grateful,
percent.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to we talk about choices, and I wanted to mention something in the Bible real quick. God says, um, as far as choices, you choose life or choose death, and God wants us to choose life. And I wanted to make sure I threw that in there, um, because again, like it's that's we you like you said, you have choices that you can make, and
Yes.
whatever you decide to choose is going to end up in some type of result. So why not choose life so that way you can have those good results?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
so
It's
I want to throw that in there. Yeah.
man, it's so true. Like, you know, life and death is in the power of the tongue, and um, you know, the things that you say, you're gonna eat the fruits of it. So, um, and that works a few ways. Like uh, you can speak life to a situation. You can speak life in every area of your life. You can speak life into your finances. Speak life into your health. You can speak life into, hey, you know, I may want a spouse one day. Like, ask God what, like, tell him what you want. Make it personal. Um, Work on yourself. Um, you know, speak life into it. Then you can also speak death to those things that you don't desire in your life. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Hey, Lord, kill this out of my life, man. Like, I ain't trying to deal with that. Like, help me control my flesh. You know what I mean? So and that's a big one. Like, we have to remember the Bible talks about how in the flesh dwells no good thing. If you go outside and pick up the dirt, you're gonna look at all the impurity that's in it. But it can also be, um, you can also put it through a screening process to get all the impurities out. But
mm,
even then, it's still a little bit of something in there that you got to be aware of and control, and know that it could bring you down to your knees at a moment of time or just any time. But um, you know, it's true, man. Like, you know, the other side of that is like, all right, you can say, I'll never lose his weight. Guess what you're speaking on yourself? Death. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I never do this because you ain't buying into believing. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't you telling yourself that. So now you have to um, um, decondition your mind from that mindset, a negative mindset,
mm,
and that could take a while, but it determines who you are, like, to be able to do that. Like, you could either challenge yourself to do better, or the I listen to this guy Myron Golden all the time. He breaks it down plain and simple. Like, you can be, you can do, and you can have. You have to being is a part of your identity. You can be better. You can be a better brother. You can be a better uncle. You can be a better son. You can be a better employee. You can do all those things. You can do you can do the work. Doing the work is also part of your identity too. You getting in that gym. You cared about your health. You eating right. You running. You praying. You reading your word. Um, you working on yourself. You know what I mean. You're investing in yourself. Um, then the having part of that is, all right. Well, because because I'm doing what I need to do here, because I'm doing the work here. Now this is my results of it. All right, my blood pressure's better, my skin's better. I got more energy. Um, I'm getting stronger. Like, you know, I'm making a little bit more money here. I'm doing this here. I'm having all these results. It's coming from the small changes that I'm making daily that I think are small, and I don't see them. I can't see it, but somebody else on the outside looking in, like, hey man, you know, his shirt fitting different, like, he more slim and trim, like, they looking at all that stuff, like, hey, you riding different, like, hey man, like, I don't know, be on what he's on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, listen, prayer and Bible over here, dude. Like I'm serving God. Like that's it, man. Like I ain't trying to ride with nothing else. Like this is what I'm riding with. And if I can help lead somebody else down this path, that's my end result, man. Because when you help someone, you make yourself better too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So and the best time to help someone is when you have those moments of where, dang, it might be one of your worst days, and it might be somebody else that might be struggling too, and they might need to pick me up through a word. But hey, man, you know what? It's gonna be all right. And if they get some of that, you like, dang, you know what? I'm happy I could make them feel better, a little bit better just by the things I said to them. Now it's up to them to take heed of whatever you told them. But then you like, hey, you know what? Let me speak life into myself. You know what I mean? Let me speak life into myself. Let me speak this about myself and understanding you're gonna have challenges. You're gonna have those days where um, you know, you're gonna feel uh, like, I ain't really feeling that.
Right.
But that's that doubt setting in.
Right.
It's trying to, doubt is not from God, man. Doubt, he ain't giving you that. Like he telling you everything you can do through his word. And his word is nothing but mere promises to us of things that's been done. And we have to stand on those promises like God stands on the word. Um God honors his word above all his names. So and the thing is, he has to do that. If we go, one of my favorite verses is, gosh, I don't know right now, but God don't give us a spirit of fear, but He gives us power, love, and a sound mind.
Right.
And the more you pray that, the more you believe that, the more God has to stand on that. Like, hey, God, listen, this is what you said, man. Like, um, this situation it seems very daunting right now. Like I'm affected by this. It's got me timid. Um, but this is what your word says. Then the more you repeat that to yourself, the more you give it back to God. You got to give him back his word. The more he has to, like, this is your promise. This is like you said. This is what you gave me, and I'm standing on this. And you have to stand on it no matter what, man. Like, um, which is super important because that day by day, that's what I do, and you have to take one day at a time, man. Like
Yeah.
you have to take one day at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. Two things. You talked about, like I said, it's definitely all about mindset. Like I said, it's a book that Joyce Meyer wrote back in the day called Battlefield of the Mind, and so
I think I
it
never read it, but I heard of that book too.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like even with bringing it back to working out, like I say, it's all about the mind. You got to change your mindset about things, and that was it for me. Like I had to change my mind about how I felt about working out, how I felt about myself, how I felt about who I am, how I felt about food. Like I said, you had to change your mindset when it comes to certain things. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely keep that in mind. The second thing I want to, because to go back, I was talking about the reasons like what really pushed me to wanting to just change things. Um, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. I'm basically on four different medicines: two for blood
Ooh.
pressure, and two for blood pressure, one for cholesterol, and the other one was for my not for cholesterol. I'm sorry, two for blood pressure, one for my esophagus. I think it's acid reflux, and the other one is for my allergies.
Mm.
But it was mainly the blood pressure stuff. I was filming A Very Merry New Year. We was filming in Tennessee, and it was on the last night. And for people who have filmed with me before, of course, I'm running around doing different things, doing everything for the most part. Not really eating like that. I was not on my medicine. And the last night we finished, wrapped up, I sat down and I felt like I was about to die. Like
Ooh.
I like I felt like this was it. I'm making this a long story short. And so what ended up happening was they ended up my everybody that was there, um the paramedics was called. And it also keep in mind it was raining, it was flooded where we were staying at. We were by the body of water, so it had flooded. So we had the paramedics had to park on top of the hill. I had to wade the water from the cabin all the way to the top of the hill. So it was a lot going on. Long story short, I came to find out that my blood pressure was 200 and something over one something whatever.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, it was bad,
Yeah.
and so that was the health scare that I needed to say, Carlton, you need to get it
You
together.
gotta do, yeah.
You got to get it together. Like with your eating, with your working out, even also with your medicine. Your doctor put you on this for a reason, so you need to make sure that you're on top of all of this. Like just take care of yourself physically. You know what I'm saying? Like even like I said, people are leaving this earth earlier than than what
Man.
we expect. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like people leaving this earth in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s. You know, it's like people are leaving this earth in a rapid pace, and I don't want to be one of those people. So like, I need to do all that I can on my end
Mhm.
to make sure that that doesn't happen. So that's those are the two things I really want to like. That's kind of what like really again forced me to really change my mindset about how I live my life. It was my
Yeah.
nieces and nephews, and then that health scare,
Yeah.
for sure. But I want to jump into what you're doing now, briefly. Um,
Mhm.
like just talk about. So you transitioned. You're now coaching basketball players.
Mhm.
How's that? How's that going for you? How's because you're
You
in
know what?
California now. So how's that going
Yeah.
for you?
Well, California is one of those hustler states, so you can always, man, it's, people moving out of here, but people moving here too. So, it's really expensive to live here. Um, but people got money to spend. So people want to let you know they got money to spend and they willing to spend it. They won't, by the time they want all your time. But, um, yeah, definitely. Yes, I started a basketball training company during COVID.
Mm,
Um, and uh, like right when I was getting ready to start my first client, I was getting ready to, we were living in LA County then before we moved a couple of years ago, but my company is called Basketball Every Day, and uh, I started I started it during COVID, and right when I was getting ready to start with my first client down in Pasadena, and met the kid at a Costco. I was just getting something to eat, and me and his mom connected, and then we talked a little bit, and we were going to get started maybe the following week. And next thing you know, I was hearing about COVID. I said, oh, we got to worry about too much about that. Next thing you know, it was stateside, like at a crazy rate. And that March, we was getting ready to hit the gym and get started. Next thing you know, I think that following week, they shut all the gyms down. I said, "Oh no! Like what in the world? Like I just started this business, and now how am I going to train my clients?" Um, so that was on the back burner, just briefly. But I was like, "All right, you know, I'm not going to sit back and wait for this thing to be lifted. I'm gonna tread lightly. I'm gonna be careful with it." But I ended up getting another client in Fullerton, California, and um, the mom was like, "Well, we have a basketball hoop in our driveway." So, I never thought about it. I said, well, we can get some work in and out there like that. That works. So, got that client, and then got another one in a city called Palmdale, which is LA County. LA County is a lot bigger than what everybody knows it to be like. And you've been out here a few times, but a lot of people don't like. I can take you to a part of LA County, but everybody calls it LA.
mm.
Even where I'm at, oh yeah, I live in LA. I'm like, bro, you stay down the street from me. We live in San Bernardino County, like, uh, but it's just what it is. LA just sounds better. Like, even with certain business, they'll promote certain things in Los Angeles, but it'll be 2 hours away from LA. Like, but it's yeah. So I've trained basketball players for a long time. When I first started training basketball players, I worked for a company called U-Turn Sports Academy in Richmond, Virginia back in 2008. No, 2007. 2007, 2008-ish. So that was my first taste of really training basketball players. But I had always done it over the years, here and there. Then I finally started a company in 2020 to do that. And so I've been doing that about 5 years now. Um, and it's rewarding, and I got my ups and downs. The biggest thing is developing players.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of beginners who love basketball, but they don't know how to play basketball. But now they know how to play basketball because um, they took that step to um, want to be better, and they had to buy into what I was teaching them. And we kept everything super basic. I didn't try to do anything like some of the IG trainers and stuff do. And that stuff is good, but for the body of players I was working with, some of them they weren't very good, and so we had to get them to build up their confidence first. Like, hey, you can do this, but you got to do it this way first. You got to do this for at least a month, then we'll add something else in, so you can see um, how much better you're getting. And my one key phrase with that was always watch yourself. I want you to watch. I see you getting better, but watch yourself get better. You know what I mean? Watch yourself get better, and it's going to be a little by little. But yeah, man, I've been doing that for the last few years, and um, I work with a program in Rancho Cucamonga, um, with a little basketball club there, and um, that's been pretty cool. Like I got a group of beginners, and we just been like, man, we've been trying to get it in, getting those guys better. But like I said, they love basketball, but they're not very good. But it's just like, for me, it's a plus because it's retention.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps putting money in my pocket. Also, I get a chance to build a relationship again, build those relationships, get them better. Um, you got a few kids who buying in, got a few that just want to mess around, but they eventually want to get like the other kids. Um, so that's been a plus in doing that the last few years. And um, yeah, man, like it's basketball. It's part of my identity. Um, I just it's a gift for me, like to be able to do what I do, and people be able to uh, benefit from it, or I benefit from them paying me, and they benefit from me by getting better, so they can use these skills elsewhere. Like, even if they don't play basketball no more in their life, hey, I had to start small. I had to start somewhere because I didn't know how to do this. I had to
Right.
do the hard stuff. You know what I mean? You do the hard stuff first, then the stuff um, that's easier. Now that's just easier. I can cruise through that. You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I promise you, like I said, even as an adult, like I said, I told you, I still hold on to what you taught me when we were training years ago. I promise you, those kids years later, they're gonna
Oh
remember
yeah.
what
Yeah.
what you taught them. So, like I said, continue the great work you're doing, man. Continue all the great things you're doing. Continue to be the light in the
Appreciate it,
world
man.
that this world needs. So, man,
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, man. And again,
Oh,
congratulations on what
thanks,
you got
man.
going on.
Likewise, man. Likewise, man. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. I'm definitely gonna hold that dear and run with that, um, for sure, man. Like, because these youth, man, they need us, man, and the world gets crazy day by day.
Hmm.
And we have to remember that, like, these young people that, um, I guess man, this new generation came up with all these phrases now. So no, I ain't gonna use them on the podcast. But man, it's just like, man, working with young people, man, it's so rewarding, man. You learn so much from them, and they're a whole lot smarter than everyone knows. And you have to be patient, and also be real with them. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And like, hey, you can be an adult one day, like I ain't, I'm telling you this now because life, time, like time is very valuable. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like you can't get back your time, but you can redeem it, but don't waste it. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So you have to be mindful of that, man. So
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure, for sure. I want to end on this note. Do you know who Jay Ellis is?
J Ellis, J Ellis,
He's
J
an actor.
Ellis.
Did you watch Insecure?
No.
I'm trying to think what else he was on. He was
Was
on. He's
he
on.
was he on the game?
He was on the game. Yeah, he was on the later seasons of the game after Tia and Pooch left.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I know his face. I know his face.
And the reason I brought him up was because as I'm talking to you now, I was trying to think who does Calvin look like, and I was like, he looks like Jay Ellis. I'm like, that's who it
Yeah,
is. And the crazy thing is, like I said,
I can see that. Yeah,
I've seen Jay Ellis work. I'm a fan of his work, and I would be
yeah,
like, well, who does Jay Ellis look like? And it's now just hitting me that it's you.
yeah. Yeah, man. You know what? I get all kind of comparisons. Like, I walk. This California. So, and I'm 6'9", so I walk in. Is that LeBron? I'm like, no. If I was LeBron, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I was getting like, listen, I'll be in my house in the hills, chilling. Like, bump that. But man, you get mistaken. People always trying to place me, try to figure out who I am all the time. I'm like, you know, I like, I throw them off a little bit, but it's cool because my son gets to see that, like, oh, why do people keep coming up to dad? Like, yeah, dad used to be kind of famous, son. So, but um,
Because you're the Calvin
uh,
Roland. That's why. That's why people coming up
yeah,
to you.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
the Calvin
So,
Roland.
yeah, man, and I tell my wife, so I might try to do at some point get into some extra work because I got a buddy of mine that does some extra work out here. He was actually in that. Um, he's did quite a few commercials, and he's did some small films. And to I'm thankful, I'm so grateful for that, man. Like, I was searching one day and I saw that I had a what's the site IMDb
IMDb.
page.
Yeah.
I said, man, I got one of these. I said, man, ain't nobody did this but Carlton, man. But I said, I'm grateful for this. So now I said, if I ever try to audition for something, which I'm not very good at that stuff at all, but I'll challenge myself to get one of them little roles, like one of them little basketball roles here or there, or one of them standing roles. I'll challenge myself to get one of those. But
I think you should.
um,
I mean, you
yeah,
out there. I'm
so
saying, why not?
yeah, so because they man, and this, they always filming movies out here, man. Like, especially going down to LA, you'll see them have a street blocked off, and even out where I live at, like um, they'll have certain areas blocked off. You'll see the movie trailers, you see the Paramount trucks, like they're coming from Burbank and all that. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's a happening state, man. Like especially in Southern California, it's always something going on. Like
Yeah.
whether it's a high speed chase, a movie going on, there's always something going on. Like regardless of where you go out here, man, it's something happening. So and you can either watch the action happen or be a part of it on the good side of it. Um, so yeah, man.
Nice, nice. All right, last question. If people want to follow you, follow what you got going on, or if somebody may be listening that may be in the area where you are in California, they want to, have their son or daughter train with you for basketball. How
Yeah,
can they get that information?
I've trained some adults too. I've trained a few adults who just want to, they might want to play better in the adult league.
Got you.
We've worked a few sessions like, hey, I want to do this and this and this. And sometimes like, especially with the guys, the wives can't stand like, man, you really spend the money on it, like that man want to do. Like, hey, it is what it is. Like, let them have that. Like, but it's um I do have social media for basketball every day. Instagram, I think it's basketball underscore everyday 323. Instagram, it's basketball every day on Facebook, and I'll send you an invite link from from the Facebook page, and I'm
Okay.
still trying to organically grow it. So
Yeah.
that's a big word that's been used in this influencer space the last few years. So I'm learning that you got to transition with the times you can stay. Like again, you can sit back and watch what's going on, or you can be a part of the change. So you have to learn how to pivot and move correctly. If you're gonna be in this part of the game or just any industry at this point, like because we see stuff happening daily, and you have to
Right.
be you know God we have to remember God created us in His image, and because He created us in His image, we can create things too. We have to create. We can't create on the magnitude He did it, but you have to think about Victory Productions. He created that. As a guy, as a thought, you had to put that thought on paper, right? And what you had to do when that thought was on paper, you had to run with it.
Right.
So, all right, I can let it sit here on this paper and like daydream about it, or I can put it into action. But yeah, man, that's my social media, man. On basketball_everyday 323 for Instagram, Facebook, basketball every day. And I think I took my website down for the moment because I'm doing some work to it and trying to add some new features to it. But yeah, man, so that's where people can reach out to me, drop a DM, and if they're interested in getting some training, or I may have some merch coming up soon, so I can put that out there. So yeah,
Okay.
man.
Nice. Well, Calvin, thank you so much for taking the time out your schedule to talk with me today. Thank you for the inspirational words. Thank you for the advice. Yeah, we definitely appreciate it, man. It was as always, it's great talking to you, bro.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much for listening and or watching. If you could please do me a favor, as always, please hit that subscribe button. We are back on the road to 10K, so please help us out. Get these numbers up. Hit that subscribe
button.
Get that
man to
10K, y'all. please and thank you. Please and thank you. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much again for listening. And as always, thank you for being a part of my world. Peace.
Peace.